There has been plenty of news coming out of the bye for the San Francisco 49ers, but probably none bigger than the 49ers acquisition of pass rusher Chase Young from the Commanders. Obviously, we already know Chase Young and Nick Bosa were teammates at Ohio State. So we actually got to hear from Nick Bosa and his reaction to the 49ers acquiring his old teammate yesterday from the locker room. Take a listen to this sound from Nick Bosa and his thoughts on the acquisition of Chase and how he feels about it and what he thinks Chase is going to bring to the San Francisco 49ers defensive line. This video courtesy of NBC Sports Authentic.
You've heard the first word that news about Chase coming.
Super excited. Have a Ohio State guy in the building.
What does he bring? What is he going to bring to this defensive line?
Speed off the edge, good length, playmaking ability, everything that he is as a player. I think people forget when you get injured, but he's really young and he's got a long career ahead, and I think we're lucky to have him.
How do you two kind of complement each other in terms of style of play?
I don't know. He's both good rushers. He's speed guy. He's got it all. But I think speed and a good power rusher kind of go together.
How much role have you played since he's been here already and trying to help him get up to speed?
I think he's been with Tap mostly and Chris, but he's definitely watching me every play and trying to get the nuances of the defense down. And I'm there watching him every rep. Monday was our only practice so far, so I was just telling him what I saw every play.
Nick, can you describe that phone call? Because he said you called him within like 5 minutes of him getting traded.
Yeah, George called me and let me know, and then I FaceTimed him right away. I was in here, and it was just shocking, honestly. We didn't ever expect to play together, and it's a little weird seeing him walking around this building.
How often did you talk to him prior to this? I mean, obviously you're busy with your profession and your own team. Did you talk to him a lot prior?
We kept in touch, but obviously we were both doing our own thing, and but we were really close at Ohio State, and it's good to have him back.
Is there a specific memory that you have from Ohio State that sticks out with Chase?
I think just the year where I got ended early with my groin. We were just dominating together, which was a lot of fun.
Did you guys have any conversations when you went back-to-back defensive rookie of the year about that with each other?
Yeah, I'm sure we did.
That's all.
Kyle said in watching the Bengals game that just collectively the team looked tired and slow, which is not something I don't know if he's ever said about this team. I'm sure it was a function of the schedule and the road trips and Bengals coming off a bye, you had a short week or whatever, but did you feel like just as a team that wasn't yourself and there was a fatigue factor going on?
Yeah, definitely. Some guys more than others with that. Everybody feels different after every game. I was feeling pretty good. I feel obviously better now, but it's a long year. You're going to be beat up. You got to play to your standard every week.
I was saying,
I guess, you don't know. Maybe you won't know until Sunday, but that seemed like a well-timed bye, and maybe there'll be some extra juice.
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody's minds are refreshed and excited. I could feel it in here, and yeah, we need it.
I was saying Steve Wilkes is going to be on the field this week instead of up in the booth. How does that change things, or does it change things at all for you guys, especially having the coordinator on the field?
Not too much, no.
Nick Lawrence gets rid of the ball really fast. How do you affect a quarterback who's getting it out in 2.4, 2.5?
You stop the run and you stop the screens and the RPOs and the quick game, and you try and force them into playing quarterback, playing the position, going through reads, and hopefully later in the game make those plays.
Nick, you talked about stopping the run. What's the key to limiting Travis Etienne?
Setting edges and just running to the ball, putting pads on them, getting back to who we are. Every play, just swarming.
What's the best thing you did on your bye week? You saw Brock was on a tractor in Iowa. Guys were all over the place. What did you do? Anything fun?
I don't even know if I want to tell you guys, but
Okay.
Yeah, I don't trust people.
Nick, is there a certain urgency to? I mean, you've lost 3 in a row. No one wants to lose 4 in a row. I mean, is there a certain urgency to this week and this game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's every week, but we need to get back on track. We need to string together a win, one win, and we're not looking ahead. But yeah, we definitely want to put a good showing out there.
As you guys already know, Nick Bosa is a man of few words. He's really not going to elaborate on a whole lot, but it is really cool to get a player of Chase Young's caliber, also a former teammate of Nick Bosa. And one of the things that I think stood out to me the most is Nick Bosa emphasizing how young Chase Young is. He is 24 years old. And just again, for a reference point, Debo Samuel was drafted to the San Francisco 49ers out of South Carolina at 24 years old. So you have Chase Young with basically 4 years of NFL experience. Obviously, lost one of those years due to ACL and lost a good amount of playing time, but he was still in the league, and he has a lot of experience for a 24-year-old. So the the bar is still rising. He's still the arrow's pointing up for Chase Young. Chase Young can still improve. He can still he can still get better. That's the crazy thing about Chase Young is when you are that age, there is still room for seasoning. There, there's still room for maturity. There's still room for development. So that's one of the positives about this edition for the San Francisco 49ers getting Chase Young is they got a guy who's young. It's one of the things that was really attractive for me in the attempt to get Brian Burns, as Brian Burns was 25 years old. You get and I liked Montez Sweat, and I kind of had myself leaning towards him as the primary guy that I wanted the 49ers to get if they couldn't get Brian Burns. But one of the drawbacks with Montez was he's 27, 28 years old. So he's a couple years away from 30. And we know 30 is kind of that magic number in the NFL where typically, not always, there's definitely a lot of other instances where players play beyond 30, but that's typically when the decline starts happening or it's around the corner. So there's only a couple years potentially with Sweat. Whereas Chase Young, if he comes out, has a good season, the San Francisco 49ers choose to re sign him in the offseason, the 49ers might be able to get Chase Young in the prime of his career, especially after he's rebounded from the ACL surgery. And who knows how he fits into this defensive line, into this wide nine scheme, and what the relationship looks like on the other side of Nick Bosa. What if he comes out and has a ton of success and he can continue to build on that success because of the room for continued development and continued improvement? And let's call a spade a spade. The Washington Commanders football team, Redskins, whatever their name is one of the worst organizations in all of sports. Now, obviously, that changes a little bit with the change of ownership. There's going to be some changes internally from the top down, but previously, it was one of the most toxic work environments probably in sports. So I do think getting a change of scenery, a new environment, adding to a winning culture. I do think being able to put his hand in the dirt, run out of the wide nine is going to bring additional benefit to Chase Young. I think this is again, I don't study Chase Young prior to this trade. Since the trade, I've definitely studied Chase Young, and I'm even more excited about this addition than I was previously when we got the former number 2 overall pick. He's a beast. He's huge. He's fast. He's quick. He can rush the passer. He can do all these things. But when you turn on the tape, you're like, okay, there's a lot to work with here, and you can see areas where he can get better. He can improve, and that's, I think, the most exciting part. So obviously, Nick Bosa got a poker face. He's not gonna show a ton of emotion and really much of anything. Uh, um, but you can hear he's happy to have Chase Young here and thinks Chase Young is going to provide a benefit. And I think one of the other key things that Bosa talked about was Bosa's a kind of prototypical power rusher, where Chase Young brings speed. He's a speed rusher. And that was evident on tape. And you can see how offensive tackles are overreacting to his speed to the outside, and Chase Young has counter inside moves. And so when these offensive tackles are over pursuing to the outside to ensure they don't get beat up field, Chase Young is able to hit swipes, he's able to hit swims, he's able to hit chops, and he's able to counter inside and break inside the leverage of the offensive tackle and create havoc as a result. And that's what I think the 49ers need on the opposite side of Bosa, because Bosa is going to be able to generate pressures, but he generates pressures through his ability to manipulate offensive linemen's hands, power rushes, speed to power, things like that. He does have a good get off, but I think there's a little extra juice in regards to speed that Chase Young provides. So those are the two big takeaways that I took away from what Nick Bosa had to say. He's young and he's fast. And that's a huge win for the San Francisco 49ers, just giving up a comp third pick, which is basically a free pick for a potentially elite edge rusher. Now, we got to see it. We need to see how he fits, and we need to see what that looks like. But on paper, this is a phenomenal move, and I'm excited to see what the 49ers get out of Chase Young. What did you think of what Nick Bosa had to say? What do you think of Chase Young and his fit to this defense as a whole? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.